Hello there chaps, thank you very much for tuning in. Please do like and subscribe and share this video to spread the love, because I do want this content to go out as far and wide. I want to grow the channel and help as many people as possible. What I've realized is I have an incredibly active imagination, and as an architect's son, one of the things that I've always loved to do is design houses, and they're often very intricate and grand affairs, palaces and castles and my own reimagined versions of stately homes and places that I've visited, things I've seen in computer games, castles and fortresses, all manner of things. And what I actually am reflecting upon is the things that I actually got from my ex relationship. And the thing is, I will say this, I know that I talk about the former relationship, I talk not necessarily really specific details about him necessarily, but I'll be honest, I'm always dubious and reluctant, but I try not to give any really intimate details, but I do my level best to describe what the conditions were like for me. And what I realise is that the things that were satisfied by being with him were quite material concerns. For a long time, the sexual chemistry between the two of us was immense. We were incredibly sexually compatible. And he drove, I don't drive. And so there was that level of freedom, to go places. And he did pay for quite a lot of things. So there was the financial luxury, of going out places and understanding that we'd be able to have a good time. And, I contributed to that as well. It was quite it was sort of a shared thing. But they were all very material considerations. And of course, there's the spiritual aspect to life that often gets neglected, frankly. And when I'm designing the houses, I can really vividly and wholeheartedly imagine myself living in such places. And it feels like more than imagination. It does feel like a sort of a sense of destiny that my life in the future will certainly be a lot bigger and more expansive. And I pray every single day. I do the Lord's Prayer every morning, and then I don't know I can never remember which number it is, but the psalm that begins, "The Lord is my shepherd," and then a variation of not exactly a prayer, but a sort of an affirmative prayer that I found on YouTube. So I do that every morning, and then I do the latter two every evening. And I do feel like there are great things in my future, including relationships and maybe companionship in a romantic sense. But that's still very much in the air for me at the moment. But interestingly, when I was writing this morning, I was thinking about school, which is a contentious subject at the best of times. And I don't think we can understate just how much, when we're going through the school system, which starts at a really, really early stage in our development, just how profound an effect it has upon us, and how various people. And I'm not one of these people that says that every single school teacher is nefarious, but there is a structure and a plan to education that does actually belie the true nature of life. That really the reason that we're on the planet is not to be so over analytical, but in fact it's to experience things, is to actually be involved in the process of life in nature, and you know, scraping our knees a bit, falling down sometimes and picking ourselves back up, developing resilience, as I talk often about, confidence, and a robust character when we can realize that whatever life throws at us, that we can actually deal with it. That's the important thing to me. And the truth is, it can be very easy to get lost in all of these different things that we're being taught, and relationships that we get entangled in that aren't necessarily in our best interest. I don't know if those are wasps buzzing or flies. Awful lot of them, my goodness me. But see, still here. And it can be very easy to get entangled and forget about what's important. And of course, the most important thing in life is that you are following your own path, and you're doing it in your own way, you know, without people telling you that you're a loser, or that you're a simp and that you're soy. You know, if you're a bloke and you show a little bit of emotion. And it's interesting actually, as I was wandering back up at the top of the valley there, there was an experience that I had with my ex-boyfriend, because he wouldn't let me ever go into his flat or stay there or anything. Brick walls, total. And the only one time that I went over there was I was very angry. I felt so, by this particular point, I felt so shut out that I walked over in the middle of the night, and yes, I was drunk. And I walked over there, and in my mind, I've told myself since this point, and this is 3 or 4 years ago, that I, you know, tried to break into his flat, and that it was really unreasonable of me. And the really interesting thing is, I've been telling myself this story for ages, but in fact, when I replayed it over in my mind, I thought, yeah, that's not what happened. I've been telling myself this story that isn't true at all, because I went over there, and outside his building there were benches, and I sat on one of these benches for a little while, and then he did actually see me out of the window, and he came outside and we chatted for a bit, and then I said, I'm going to go. I can't remember exactly what he said. He said, no, just come inside. And I asked him, are you sure? And we went in, and I petted his cats, and then as I realised, you know, that I was actually in the flat finally, I was in there, I thought, yeah, he's not going to ever actually allow me in. I got very, very angry, and that precipitated one of the breakups, basically, one of the major ones, where we split for a while. And I thought, yeah, I've been telling myself a version of events that is not true, and I let the light shine in. You see, I let the light shine in, and suddenly realised, wow, I really am hard on myself. And it's amazing, because the funny thing is, my ex used to say a lot, "Oh, Martin, you're so intelligent, but it can be your greatest asset, but also your greatest downfall." And I thought, yeah, that's bullshit. That's bollocks. But what I actually realised is that my imagination and my ability to actually unfurl things and see things in numerous different ways, with my problem-solving brain, that actually that imagination could equally lead me to believe things that aren't true. So it's why I talk a lot about living in reality, sitting in the discomfort and actually looking at the situation, each individual situation, how it actually happened, what actually happened, step by step, detail by detail, and most importantly, in looking at the events, where are you in the event? Where are you? What is your role? What are you getting? What are you not getting? And in the future, when you learn to recognize these destructive and constructive patterns of behavior, you'll be in a better position to actually choose which way you want to go. And of course, we want to be moving in constructive and positive directions that are authentic and genuine and joyful. And that's where the real work actually happens. And it's what I want to help as many men tackle themselves emotionally, professionally. It's all, psychologically, spiritually, all of these things, they all come from your opinion of yourself. And I want you to have a really empowered and positive opinion of yourself, highlighting your strengths and building the best possible life that you can imagine. So thank you very much for listening. Again, please do like and subscribe, because it does help to spread this information and grow the channel. And please do share if you feel like you heard anything useful and uplifting. I really do appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Ciao for now.